Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a review of a disc that came out in 2009. Well, I don't really care when things are released. You know, one of the things, I have to digress for a second, that I realized when we started ClassicsToday.com, the classical music industry was sort of a going concern, and they were very, very concerned with getting reviews of current releases. And we were too, of course. And there was tons of stuff coming out, and it was, a big deal. And so that's what we did. And the entire classical music industry was on a monthly release schedule because they were selling physical product in stores. And, those stores got new stuff once a month, and you'd go once a month and see what was new, and you'd look at the end cap and pick the new releases that interested you. That's how it worked. The remnants of that still exist, but there is no reason in the universe when everything is streaming or whatever, number one, and number two, when you've got like everything in the universe available for streaming or downloading, and most people haven't heard the vast majority of it, to worry about what happens every month. It just doesn't make any sense. It makes sense economically. It makes sense to you have to keep your books. You need to know what your expenses are. But the reality of the situation is that it doesn't matter how old anything is, and it doesn't matter when it came out, and it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. None of it matters. You can review anything from anywhere, anytime. And especially, it's especially valuable, I think, to be able to go back and look at things that you might have missed. And this is something that I missed. And I am very happy to have unmissed it, because when I was talking about the Romantic Piano Concerto series, and we got to Scharwenka's first piano concerto, and I went back and started listening to my Scharwenka stuff. I had a little Scharwenka moment, because he was a very good composer. He really was. And his fourth piano concerto, the last one, was written in 1908. He lived until 1924. 1850 to 1924, actually. And this disc sort of, struck me. I mentioned it a little bit in talking about the Romantic Piano Concerto one, because the pianist in question is François Xaview Poizat. And Poizat recorded that fabulous box of Ravel piano works, everything for piano, chamber works, the concertos, the solo works, really first-class work. And that was, of course, just last year. So we're talking about, this is 2009, minus 20, 17 years later. He's been around, obviously. He's been performing. There are probably some other discs out there. It isn't possible. It wasn't possible in 1999 when we started Classics Today. It wasn't possible to keep track of all the stuff that was getting released, all of the artists and what happened and what have you. It really was incredible. So I went back, and he had done the Scharwenka Fourth Piano Concerto, which is a marvelous piano concerto. It's probably Scharwenka's greatest. It's gorgeously melodic, incredibly virtuosic. It's formally interesting. It has four movements with a second movement, intermezzo / scherzo. And the finale, the Allegro con fuoco, is quite the thing. It's very rhythmically tricky. And it's a 6/8 sort of rollicking thing with interesting metrical interruptions of its main melodic material. There's just a lot going on here, and it is a slam-bang piano work. My goodness, it's difficult. Really, really, really rewarding. And this is a lovely performance of it. Now, for the Scharwenka piano concertos generally, I think a lot of people now look to, what was his name? Alexander Markovich, right? Isn't that the guy on Chandos with Nimi Yarvi? Those are big, beefy, very butch performances. They're kind of hirsute. Poizat is a little bit more graceful. The sonics are distanced a little bit more. They're really better balanced. The Chandos has the piano. It's like this giant piano up front. It's very exciting. This is a little bit better balanced, maybe a little more elegant, certainly more thoughtful in the slow movement, which is, it's a lento mesto. And in Yarvi's recording, it's it's 3 minutes faster than this one. This one's 9 minutes. That one's 6, which is kind of amazing. An amazing difference. And so this is a beautiful disc. You also get, besides the fourth piano concerto, the Mataswintha opera overture, which is it's meditative primarily. An arrangement of the slow movement of the cello sonata in F minor for harp, organ, and strings. Don't ask me why. And three Polish national dances, Opus 3. There are a bunch of them. I mean, numbers 1, 8, and 15 are on this disc. Very well played by Monsieur Poizat. He's a fine artist. I guess he always was. The problem is with the surfeit of recordings and things coming out, it's impossible to keep track of everybody. I mean, we're going through the Romantic Piano Concerto series has turned out to be fascinating because not only do we go back and review all kinds of repertoire that, we enjoyed maybe once and then no one paid attention to, but we also get to hear a number of fine pianists, some of whom have gone on to have extraordinary careers, some of whom were, nothing much has happened. But yeah, I mean, there are branches and side paths that you can, check out. And this was one of them. And I am very, very happy that I did. There will be more Scharwenka in this series, and some of it actually wasn't so hot, but now there's really, we're Scharwenka'd out. There's a whole surfeit of fine Scharwenka recordings that we can choose from. And it's partly the result of this series that legitimized going back and doing some of this repertoire, at least the more rewarding items in it. So I would give this a listen. You'll enjoy it. It's François Xaview Poizat, the Poznán Philharmonic Orchestra, under Lukasz Borowicz, who's also a very good conductor, by the way. And it's on Naxos. So there you have it. A wonderful, happy discovery. Better late than never. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.